what are some of the insurance, risks you guys are seeing out there with tokenization?
So when tokenization first started to kind of pick up, we were so lucky. We have an amazing client in the space, a traditional client, and they really wanted to understand what the real exposures were. So we did this huge brainstorming session. It was more than one session, to be fair, but we had an insurance company fly in from an international country to sit with us, and we went through this whole brainstorming session. And I don't want to give away what we came up with because I think where we landed on what the unique exposures are is still something that no one else is talking about. Um, but Mike, to try to answer your question without giving away anything from our side, it depends where a client sits in the space. So if you're tokenizing real world assets, um, you know, those physical assets presumably are stored with a traditional custodian. So, a State Street or Fidelity, those, putting aside the virtual token part of it, but they're actual physical assets. So those assets are secure. There should be insurance in place. So then the question becomes, now that you're digitizing that and enabling the efficiencies of trading and things like that, like what could the potential exposures be? Is it downtime? Is it loss of trading revenue? So there's a lot of different things to talk about when it comes to tokenizing assets. It depends what you're tokenizing. It depends what those assets are stored, and it depends where in the process that the client sits.
And I think from a user perspective, I mean, this is a narrative I'm super excited about. Something I didn't share in my intro is I come from a real estate background. So the tokenization of real estate, I think I've sat in 3 or 4 different calls through communities that I'm in that talk about that. And when you really understand the technology and the efficiency created in that world, whether it's real estate or art or cars, whatever it might be, um, to me, it makes a lot of sense because I've spent, a handful of years understanding this industry and this space and how it works and where it goes. But for somebody who owns a home that's, in their 60s, that has never dealt with this type of infrastructure or technology, it's Chinese. And, I think educating folks and, pushing these ideas to the corners of the room that aren't being exposed to this. Um, I'm super excited about where that goes across all different types of assets, mainly real estate, because I think it's a no-brainer. There's a handful of companies right now that I'm tracking that are, the Zillow or the homes.com, but they're doing it through tokenized assets of real estate and selling property or renting property on the blockchain.